Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and today we're looking at one of the other alternate commanders from one of the new pre-con decks for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. And today it's Kirri, Talented Sprout, the alternate commander from the Desert Bloom pre-con deck. One red, green and white for a 0/3 legendary plant druid. And other plants and tree folk you control get +2/+0. And at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, so after you've attacked, basically for those of you still learning the game, return a target plant, tree folk or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Right. So you can attack with all your plants and tree folk. If they get killed off, you'll get one back. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything here. It's kind of reanimation. I mean, white has had a reanimation before, you know, Breath of Life springs to mind. There's a few other bits and pieces that have turned up over the years. But I don't think I can remember much in red or green, to be honest. That wasn't sort of like Gay's Blessing for green. Can't remember anything in red. But anyway, yeah. Well, it's very simple, really. You've got to build Kirri as a plant and tree folk deck, haven't you? You want to take advantage of the +2/+0. And then you want to take advantage in your second main phase of the plant, tree folk or land. And, you know, you've got to have those creatures in place. So this is what today's deck looks like. So here we go, starting with the creatures in mana value order. Avacyn's Pilgrim, Birds of Paradise gives us a little bit of ramp both ways. JD Offshoot is the first of the plants. It becomes, when Kirri's in play, it becomes quite a nice little defender that gains you a life for each land you drop. 2/3 for 1 mana, assuming Kirri's in play, is pretty good. Tinderwall is just here to sack off and hopefully give you that little bit of extra mana ramp you need. Possibly to cast Kirri out on turn 2, which really is quite good because you can cast Kirri, hopefully have a plains and a forest in play. No, turn 3 would be, wouldn't it? There, ignore me. But it ramps out Kirri a little bit quicker. At the end of the day, it also pays the 2 mana for the command attack, so forget everything I just said about doing it quicker. I think turn 3 you'd be able to do Kirri on a good game. No, you can't. No, you can do it turn 2. Turn 1 Tinderwall. Turn 2 play a plains. Sack the Tinderwall. Tap the plains. Tap the forest you used to cast Tinderwall. Have your 4 mana. Play Kirri. Go to your combat, nothing attacks, come back from your combat, return the Tinderwall. Yeah, it does work on turn 2. Don't know why I didn't think it didn't. But anyway, sorry, just talk that through for a second. So yeah, Tinderwall, worthwhile in this deck. Bristling Bill is a plant at the end of the day. Yes, I've done a whole deck on Bristling Bill. He turns up quite regularly now, and why not for 2 mana? So chuck this one in as well for another plant. Flourishing Bloomkin from the MKM set. Flourishing Bloomkin gets +1/+1 for each forest we control, but the disguise is really good. So play it face down and then flip it up for the 5 mana. Go and get 2 forest cards. Not basics, forest cards. You can go get dual lands, which is really useful in this deck. So do it that way. Gate Creeper Vine goes to set your land for basic land cards, so the one you're missing. I'm not playing any gates in this deck, didn't want them today, but basics are in here. Hard Bristle Bandit, just to give us a little bit of mana ramp as well. Don't think we've got anything that commits crimes that I can remember, but you know, if we do have, we'll get to him in a second. I'll remember. Loyal Apprentice just gives us a Thopter each turn. Sylvan Carotid just gives us a bit of ramp each turn. Well, Thopter, sorry, when we have Kirri in play anyway. Sylvan Carotid's ramp. Find Lasher Kazoo gets a. It should have, whenever land comes into play under your control, it should have landfall on it by now. But hey, it's another creature that can get bigger with our lands. Fade Elder, so first of the tree folk, +1/+1 for each colour of permanents, and then we get to tap it 4 mana, so maybe 3 mana a turn. Gaia's Avenger, Gaia's Avenger is power and toughness each equal to 1 plus the number of artifacts your opponents control. So 3 mana for a 1/1, but as people get clue tokens, treasure tokens, foe tokens, blood tokens, so on and so forth, this is just going to get really big really quickly, so yay. Heartwood Storyteller just gives everyone a bit of card draw when people play non-creature spells. Bissell Bud Farmer is one of the new cards as well. It comes into play, gives us a couple of foods. Whenever we attack, we may sack a food. If we do, mill 3 cards and put a permanent card from among those cards into our hand. It's a 5/5 with trample for 4 mana. Probably the main, well, it is the main reason this plant druid's in the deck. Cactus Folk Sure Shot is also here for the reach, the ward, and giving all our creatures with power 4 greater trample and haste. Laurel Unicorn prevents all damage and gives all our creatures vigilance as long as Kirri's in play. Lumber Knot, just whenever a creature dies it gets +1/+1. Should get there. It's hexproof. It can sit there and do not a lot, and hopefully creatures die, this gets bigger, and it's any creature, not just creatures we control, so it does help from that point of view. Mirrorwood Tree Folk, going back to I can't remember the name of the set now. Plane Chase. 2/4, not great for 4 mana, but 2 red and white. The next time damage would be dealt to Mirrorwood Tree Folk this turn, that damage is dealt to a target creature or player instead. Great blocker if you've got 4 mana up and you've got something massive coming towards you that hasn't got trample. If you're just blocking something that's big and grumpy with no trample, you're going to deal a lot of damage to something, which is really nice. Tree Bird from Lord of the Rings turns up as well to give some more food tokens. Whenever we gain life, we get to put that many +1/+1 counters on a tree folk. Herald of the Host, because I just wanted something that flew, and I quite like this one with the mirrored ability as well. So yeah, 5 mana for a 4/4 Sarah Angel that when it attacks you get to do other tokens. That's fine. The Loyal Guardian. If you control your commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Makes your creatures big very quickly. Pythotough Hydra. I can't say that to save my life. But if damage will be dealt to it, put that many +1/+1 counters on it instead. Start small, gets big quickly. Very hard to even move outside of banishing exile type effects. Yedora Grave Gardener also comes in from this one's Wildsville Drain. Another non-token creature you control dies. You may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. It's a forest land. Okay, just have loads and loads of forest. That's fine. Thank you. More ramp, like it. Foxfire, for 6 mana, or red, green, red, green, or something in those combinations. Gets +3/+0 until the end of turn, so becomes a 6/6 quite happily. Colonian Twin Grove is also in here. Equal the power and toughness equal the number of forest. You get a token copy of it as well. Namata Grove Guardian. Make some saplings. Saplings make them bigger. Yes, they aren't plants, but Namata is a tree folk at the end of the day, so it's a 6/5 for 6 mana when Kirri's in play. Can't complain. Quick Beam Upstart Ents. When this or another tree folk enters battlefield, up to 2 target creatures we control get +2/+2 and gain trample. That's nice. Old Observer. Whenever a creature you control with toughness 4 or greater dies, you draw a card. That's one way of getting the card drawing going. Verdeloff is Verdeloff. Pumps all the tree folk. Gives us a whole load of saplings. And if we get the kicker cost, we get to do the sapling kicker as well. Avenger Zendikar is kind of key in this deck. Yes, it's an elemental, but, and this is a big but, comes into play, gives you all those plant creatures equals the number of lands we control. Plant creatures. So, Ancient Avenger Zendikar comes into play with Kirri in play. All the lands basically give you a whole load of 2/1 plant creatures that get bigger when you drop a land. Yeah, that sounds good. And don't forget, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each plant creature you control. This is one way of making Kirri bigger as things go along to get commander damage on the go with Kirri, so bear that in mind. Cultivator Colossus just lets us find a land and put it into play. It's also a big beast, plant beast. Fangorn, the Tree Shepherd, gives all our tree folk vigilance. Whenever one or more tree folk attack, you may add twice that much green mana, and then you get to keep that until you've spent it. Garspark Twins can block an additional creature each combat. It's a 7/7 and has trample for 7 mana, so yeah, not a bad deal really. Ghoul Tree is just silly. Each creature card in your graveyard cuts its cost down by 1, and it's a 10/10 for 8 mana. Probably going to be a 10/10 for 4, I would imagine. Downside, it has got trample, but yeah, there's ways around that, isn't there? Which we've put in the deck already. Yep, it's a tree folk, it's Woodfall Primers, blow everything up, persist it, blow something else up, and Rumbleweed coming in from our new commander sets as well, alongside Kirri, Talented Sprout. Gets cost 1 less for each land card in your graveyard, Vigilance, Reach, and Trample, and when it enters the battlefield, all of the creatures get +3/+3 and trample until the end of turn. Little bit of ramp. Oh, Collective Voyage, Farseek, Nature's Law, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Cultivate. Tempt with Discovery is also here, and I'm going to cast Primal Command as a bit of rampy type stuff to a certain degree, because, no, I'm not, wrong card, ignore me, I'm having a bad day, I'm very tired, sorry. Spells, Heroic Intervention, that's in here to protect everything as we go along. Jessica's Will gives us some mana and gives us some cards. Achroma's Will is our Let's Win the Game spell here and now. Fumigate controls the board for us. Primal Command, I don't know what I was talking about earlier, so sorry on. This is gain 7, go and shuffle your graveyard into your library. I'll search your library for a creature card, put it in your hand, then shuffle. That works. Call forth the Tempest. We should be able to get to 8 mana with this deck quite happily. Double Cascade, hit something big, and then yeah, deal all that damage to each creature your opponents control equal to the number total mana of spells you've cast this turn. Don't forget, you always, if you get cast this, it counts itself, if I remember correctly. So, right, anyway, last march of the Ents can't be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness amongst creatures you can control. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Yep, like that. Blasphemous Act, control the board. Artifact wise, Elixir of Immortality, shuffle everything in when it goes pear shaped. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Medallion, Medallion, Medallion. And then one of each of the respective talismans gives us a whole load of ramp in the artifact slot, apart from the Elixir of Immortality. Speaking of ramp, the Growing Rights of Itlamok are also here to flip into our Persuado Gaze Cradle. And then Legion Loyalty. I'm determined to make this card work, and I'm trying to outgain this deck at this stage, just because I like making sure all my creatures have myriaded, so I can get in with big attacking when I need to. Beyond that, it's 36 lands in the deck. Usual selection of things you'd expect to see from one of my decks. There's nothing really fancy here. I will point out there is Gavany Township to pump the creatures up. I'm not playing Reliquary Tower for a change, and I'm not playing Temple of the False Gods either. So just bear that in mind. Had a bit of a break for this deck. And that is it. That's my little take on Kirri, the Talented Sprout. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I've had a few people watch the gameplay from Bonnie Powell this week, so I'll be keeping an eye on which of the 3 decks. There's another one tomorrow, there's one yesterday. Get the most views this week, and then we'll maybe try and do a bit more gameplay with them at some stage. But for now, thanks for watching. If you could hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate it down below. 460 subscribers I record this, still getting towards my 500 target for the end of the year, so if you can, hit the subscribe button. If you want to see me play Kirri Talented Sprout, come and check out my stream. There's also a link in the description to where you can find me on Twitch. And yeah, if not, just come back tomorrow and watch tomorrow's video. Leave a comment, hit the like button, help me out with the algorithm. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll be back soon. Take care. Bye.